Hello and welcome to Your Employment Matters. I'm Beverly Williams and I'm here to help you navigate your career. This is for anyone who's searching for their dream job or promotion, or perhaps you're just looking to hang on to the job you have. Today's work environments are multi-generational, multi-religious, multinational, multiracial, and multi-gender identity. Add market disruptors like Amazon and Lyft, along with the addition of AI, and it's easy to see why finding and keeping a job is such a challenge. Employment success and even employment survival depend on your ability to adapt. That's why my goal for this 30-minute podcast is to first advocate embracing change and differences, and second, to encourage you to proactively assume responsibility for your career. Get your work week off to a good start by listening to Your Employment Matters every Monday. Find out how to own your career and get the best practices for making your employment matter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the return of Your Employment Matters. There's been a hiatus because we've been transitioning to YouTube, and we still have some glitches. There are glitches in this recording. Dr. Huber, one of my guests, is here beside me. This wasn't planned this way. He was supposed to be in another room, but it didn't work out the way I planned. This is a lesson to those of you who have jobs and you're responsible for certain projects. The best laid plans mean nothing. Even if you start in advance, it means nothing. Things will go wrong and you just have to pivot. You have to, as though it doesn't bother you, even though it does. And I want to thank Dr. Huber and my other guest, Sean Huber, his son, for their patience and their understanding. Because trust me, listeners, viewers, this has been a mess. But we're committed to bringing forth this information because it's important. There are so many people who are out of work, who are looking for employment, or who are employed and don't know whether they're going to continue to be employed. So it's important that our work continue. Now, I'm going to ask Dr. James Huber, DMD of West Orange, New Jersey, to give us some background about him. Dr. Huber, as I said before, he and Sean have been interviewed before. And as I've told you in Dr. Huber's previous interview, he's my dentist, and I love him because he doesn't hurt me. So I'll give you his contact information before we sign off. But Dr. Huber, why don't you give them a brief bio about your background, and then we'll move on to Sean, and we'll start.
Okay. Thank you, Beverly. I was born and raised in West Orange, New Jersey, went to Catholic grammar school and then to the local high school, graduated first in my class, and then went on to the pre-med program at the University of Virginia, where I graduated in 1980. Always knew I wanted to be a dentist. Had a little hard time getting into dental school, but I ended up getting accepted at the University of Pennsylvania down in Philadelphia.
Well, let me just say, Well, why would they take you? That's not a good school.
Yeah.
So just so those who don't, the listeners or the viewers who may not be aware, the University of Pennsylvania is one of the preeminent educational institutions in this country, if not the world. Okay, go ahead.
And yes, Beverly, Penn was actually the only school I got into, and probably, as you said, the best school I applied to. So I was very fortunate. I enjoyed dental school, got through the first 2 years, which was more didactic. But
what does didactic mean?
More book work, studying, a little bit of clinical and hands-on. And dentistry is kind of a little bit of an artist, a little bit of a plumber, a little bit of an electrician, and a healer. So that's what attracted it to me in the first place. I graduated in 1984 from Penn Dental, and I did a year what's called a general practice residency at Mountainside Hospital in Montclair, New Jersey. During that time, I worked for my eventual partner. I was able to work part-time in a private practice setting. So that year was the best of both worlds. I was able to pick up my speed and learn how to treat patients, but also the real world. Also, I was able to work in a private practice thanks to my partner and eventual partner and mentor, who I knew for many years at the local golf club where Sean and I both worked. And we formed a relationship, and I ended up becoming a partner with him in 1988. A little more
No, well,
about
why don't we
my...
we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Let's hear from Sean. Sean, when your previous interview, I said, your dad told me while I was in the dental chair, oh, my son is a rock star. You know, and I know that your father doesn't look like the rock star type. So when he said that, I just said, he's such a nice man. You know, his son is blowing smoke. Just, just finish my mouth. And every time I went, he said that. So finally I said, okay, what are you talking about? And he said, no, Beverly, he really is. He really is. And Sean, I'm telling you, I told two people, and two different people of different backgrounds screamed when I said modern. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is serious. And that your father told me that the band had been written up in the New York Times. So you are a legit rap star. And it sounds like you have another role that you've assumed since we last talked.
Yes. So, well, we touched on a lot when we last talked, and thank you for having me again, as well as my dad. So when we last talked, kind of explained where I started, and I grew up in Verona, New Jersey, a town over from West Orange, where my dad was born. I followed his footsteps in coming to Philadelphia for college. I studied by trade film editing at Drexel University, so I did their film program there. Upon graduating, I had a job that I was doing while I was still in school. It was kind of the perfect job from my perspective in terms of where I wanted to be as a film editor. But since I was a teenager, I was also playing music. So a very unique opportunity presented itself in that the band I was in at the time, Modern Baseball, we really got a bit of luck, and we started to do really well on the road and sell a lot of records. So I made the very rare choice of leaving a job I loved to go on the road for a number of years and perform with that band. In this day and age, I'll never call it a rock star. I'll call it a working class musician. But making music nowadays often requires some other income. I was never too far from the side hustle as I was making music. So once Modern Baseball started to peter back what the amount of stuff we were doing on the road, I jumped into another passion I had, which was craft beer. Because when you're in your young 20s and you're traveling the world, a good way to pass the time is to try a lot of different breweries, especially when you're in Europe. So I took the knowledge that I gained, and I networking, found a role at a different brewery, kind of worked my way up there. I was selling beer for about 8 years with that brewery, and they were a larger company, and they hit some financial struggles. So they laid off most of my team. So after that had happened, I was lucky in that I kind of wanted to plant my roots down a mile deep, but 6 foot wide. So I found myself looking at Philadelphia as a place where I really wanted to actually continue my brewery career. So I found a job at a brewery I was quite a fan of beforehand called Triple Bottom, where I am now. And Triple Bottom is unique in that we're a certified B Corp.
What does that mean?
So a certified B Corp, so it's an accreditation you have to apply for, and it's pretty strict guidelines in terms of your sustainability model, how you're active in your community. It could be compared to a nonprofit, but it's not an official 401c3. So the way we do that, our whole motto is Beer, People, Planet. So on the planet side of it, that's in terms of our sustainability model. We're wind powered. Our trash is like very strictly recycled in every way we can, as well as our spent grain and the product that gets dumped out from brewing. And from the people side of our business model is we run a 16-week apprenticeship program for justice affected, for housing insecure, or other folks in the community that are facing hardship. Partially a reentry program, it's partially a job training program, and it's partially a service industry program. So One day I may be training them on how to serve customers, how to tap a keg of beer, but then other days we're helping them secure their own employment. And that might be by updating their LinkedIn, working on their public speaking skills, and anything like that. And the whole goal is to get them a job by the end of the program. So it is a brewery. We make fantastic beer, but a lot of our business also entails our apprenticeship program.
Well, I didn't know that. But if there's some way I can help with the training remotely, please, let's talk about it
That's
because
very kind of you.
I'd love to be able to help. I mean, this is part of what I want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
want to help people get jobs. I want to help them think differently about how they do that
Mm-hmm.
and how they keep a job. I mean, maybe not the same job you had last year,
Yeah.
but you position yourself to be able to transition into another because your network is robust.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll reach out to you
Yeah, please do.
and see if I can contribute in that way somehow. But you guys, Doctor
Yeah.
Sean, as father and son, I know, Sean, you did extensive traveling out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
As a parent, did you have any reservations or angst about him out and about in other countries, playing music, drinking beer?
Sean, and Sean, I have two sons. I have Brendan is my oldest son, and Sean, total opposites. Brendan would call me in a panic from Grand Central Station trying to get from somewhere in New York to another spot in New York, where since Sean was probably 12, 13, he's been a Wanderlust traveler. And just, he would pack up. He's my Renaissance man. So no, I never had any trepidation at all with Sean. I knew he was in good hands, had a good head on his shoulders, and I was excited for him to go to all the places. He has more spunk or more Wanderlust than anyone I know. So,
Well, that's important. You see the difference in your children and how you deal with them and support them differently.
yes.
I think my parents did the same thing, although my father tried to get all of us to go to college. And my brothers went, they just didn't like it, so they didn't stay.
Right.
But it was important to my father. But I understand that because I have friends who don't want their children to leave home. And I understand as a person of color, the concern that parents have about safety for their children. But I think it's difficult for a parent to want to protect their children and also want them to fly, want them to be, all you can be,
Mm-hmm.
all you want to be. But there's a tension, I think, between the two. But it doesn't sound like there's a tension between you and Sean in that regard. Because I remember we talked and we said, oh, Sean's in the UK. Sean. And I was like,
New Zealand.
New Zealand. I mean, that's further.
Yes.
There's a benefit to leaving where you grew up and experiencing different places. Whether you travel on vacation, whether you travel to another country because of work, you see people differently. You see countries differently. And that makes a difference in the person you are because everybody's not the same. Now, what about your other son? He's more of a homebody?
More of a homebody, kind of more like me, serious, but yeah, definitely a homebody. He likes to be home. Had an opportunity to be with the Secret Service, but it involved travel and distance, and that turned him off to that. So he's very local. Yeah, definitely a homebody.
And Sean, I think that benefited you because if you have two children, you have multiple children. And you can pick one. Okay, I see the difference. He needs to. I think it's easier as I think of my friends who have more than one child. My godchild who went to UVA. Her parents went to Europe with her. She was in a program. She got into a program and she was in Paris for a while. Her parents went with her.
Wow.
She said, no, you're not going by yourself. You can go, but you can't go by yourself. But she was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood that. But there are other ones who were older. Their parents, They don't want them to go anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
You stay near home, where you grew up. It's almost like, so I can watch you. And you both have different employment journeys.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, him being more of a homebody kind of gave me, whether like subconsciously or not, just gave me the permission to feel that drive to travel. And I mean, if I didn't come to Philadelphia when I did for college, I mean, every single opportunity I've had wasn't necessarily because of where I grew up, the privilege I was provided, or anything like that. It was more so the places that I ended up and the people that I met. And by developing relationships with folks, and be it in jobs or in creativity and music, that's kind of provided every step along the way for me.
No, it's right. Your father's approach to networking is unique. And when I heard it the first time, I was like, I would have never thought to do that. Wherever he got the source of his scholarships,
Mm-hmm.
he stayed in touch with those people and they kept giving him money.
That's clever.
That's right.
No
You
dummy.
I got a Ford fellowship, and it was wonderful because they paid me like I was a faculty member. When the faculty got paid, I got paid. But when I graduated, I was like, oh, I need a car. I need to get. So I wrote the Ford Foundation and asked them if they would send me a car.
Right. Wow.
It never dawned on me that I should stay connected to the people who selected me for a benefit. I mean, I didn't even say thank you because they were famous people. But your father was thanking them and staying in touch with them and letting them know how he was doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm going to start doing that from now on. Seriously.
I mean, that's sales. I mean, it's not what you would think of as being whether it's beer or whether you're going door to door selling vacuums, you're selling yourself. So I think he's done a great job of selling himself. And when you need to develop an intimate relationship as such you would with a patient, especially if you are a doctor that, I doubt that every patient is as lucky as you and that they don't get hurt at all. But you need to be very intentional with developing those relationships.
Well, see, the first time he hurt me, I punched him.
Right.
It was just reflex.
Yeah.
So now he says, are you okay? Is this enough? Is this enough? So I don't have that problem anymore. I have a low tolerance for pain.
Sure.
But he's an excellent dentist. I recommend him to all my friends.
Absolutely.
They love him. But the other thing about you and your dad, as a friend of mine put it, and I think this captures it, you have a nice way about you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're approachable. You're pleasant. You have a pleasant demeanor. It's not off-putting. It's not in your face. When you talk about what you're doing now, you smile because I can tell you like what you're doing. When your father talks about what he's doing, he likes what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that he likes it because of the way he conveys the message. And that's really what's important, that people find their niche, whatever the hell they call it, any way they can, so that they're not running after something that won't make them happy.
Of course.
You may think it will make you happy, but it won't. It may not. And when you find out it doesn't, you're not satisfied. It's probably better than happy.
Mm-hmm.
Has to fill a hole. If you're not satisfied, you won't be productive. You won't be able to contribute to your family emotionally and your friends. I know for me, I've enjoyed what I've done. And I'm committed to doing this now, to getting the word out about how employment has changed and having different people talk about it. The fact that you've made a change. Do you still play?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm going on tour next week. And I'm going to Europe next month. So I still manage. But that, again, that's because of the relationships I've maintained, that I've been able to build a life out where I'm not necessarily on the road 8 months out of the year, like as I was in my 20s, but I'm still able to maintain that side of my life.
Well, not only that, you must be an excellent worker, because if you weren't, they wouldn't let you come back.
That's key. Yeah. It all feeds into itself. I mean, we do a lot of very large offsite events at the brewery. We're a small brewery, but we punch above our weight when it comes to our events. So that, a big part of my role is managing those events. And we, it might be a field. We do have a big partnership with the Eastern State Penitentiary, which is a historic prison in Philadelphia. And when they do their whole Halloween haunted house, we run a number of bars inside the penitentiary. Now, there's very little running water.
Penitentiary.
I think I'm the only person in the country who has installed a draft beer wall in a former penitentiary. It's quite the sight to see. But, there's very little running water. It's a museum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a historic museum.
The inmates are not drinking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a historic museum. But yeah, it's a lot of skills that kind of, it's run and gun, it's problem solving, and it's a lot of things that I kind of accidentally picked up getting stranded in the middle of the country in a van and having to get to the next show.
We do what we have to do to get done what has to get done.
Absolutely.
And when, that's with this project, getting all this content on YouTube, not only the podcast, but the discussion manual that'll provide online training. They'll be able to go into YouTube once I get it transferred to video. They'll be able to go in and train themselves so that they won't have to go to a location. Everything that can be done remotely. And I have a cartoon.
Fun.
I have a cartoon that I hope to convert to animation, because, people learn differently. Everyone, they say radio is dead, but their podcasts, their videos, there's streaming, all this new way to consume content. And I figured I had a cartoon developed I wrote the script, and the cartoonist that I paid a good deal of money for the artwork, and I have 6 frames. So I'm going to put that on YouTube. And then eventually, when I get funding, I'm going to have it developed into an animated series.
Sure.
Because there are messages in these cartoons that people need to be mindful of. And if you see it in a cartoon, it might hit some people differently.
Sure.
So, yeah. So I'm trying. It's breaking me, but I'm trying. I'm trying. But there's another thing I want to do. It's similar to the podcast, a panel discussion.
Sure.
And people can call in. They can text or email, ask questions. Because someone said to me, one of my guests said, when I went online and looked at your podcast, I thought I had to judge up my bio because the people you've been interviewing are so impressive. And I was thinking, really? I hadn't thought of it that way. I'm going to have to go back and look. But she's right. There are a number of people that have had really interesting stories or have had acclaim. Or have had interesting roles like Rockstar, who, one of my former clients is a gold medalist in track. He's from Canada.
Okay.
And I'm like,
who is that?
His name is Brendan. What's Brendan's last name? Oh, I forgot his last name. He runs the relay.
The relay 4x100.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
So he said, but he lives in Jamaica now.
Oh, okay.
And I was hoping to see him on Sunday. He's being inducted into the LIU Brooklyn Hall of Fame.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Nice.
the guys are going and we're just not, it's because there's something going on with the trains over there or something. I don't know. But I can't remember Brendan's last name. But there are people who have achieved a great deal and people who have stepped out of their comfort zone to be successful. Like the former NFL player that I interviewed. Who knew? Who knew? He was on his way to Foxborough to try out for the Patriots because he had been cut.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he was down on his luck. He didn't have any money. His mother had paid for his ticket. And he was sitting on the plane and he looks at the man next to him and he could tell from the man's dress and demeanor that he was very successful. And for some reason, he says he doesn't know how or why he did it. He just asked the man if he would help him. And the man put down his laptop and asked him, "How can I help you?" Now, who would do that? I know I would.
Right.
I'm not going to ask a stranger. I don't usually talk. Before I started doing this work, I wouldn't talk to anybody on a plane or a train. That was my decompressing time.
Mhm.
I don't talk to strangers. I'm not worried about them kidnapping me. I don't want to talk to you. I have all this stuff going on. I can't talk to you because I was a labor and employment attorney. Discrimination, strikes, all that emotional stuff. I just wanted to decompress. But people like you were so willing to talk to me about their journeys that it really turned me around. I talk to people now.
That's great.
Yes.
Is it great?
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
We'll see.
Yes.
Well, but no, seriously, I feel like this is my mission. I have to get these projects funded. I really have to get these projects funded. Failure is not an option.
Uh-huh.
It's not an option. But tell me, each one of you, would you do anything differently than you've done?
Probably, I'm a workaholic. So I wish I'd spend more time smelling the roses growing up. I tried to be there for both of my boys, but I was working more than not working. So try to take a little more, step back a little bit, not be such a workaholic if I had to do it differently.
Well, you have grandchildren now. Do you spend more time with them?
I do. Yes.
Then one of us is a girl. So
right.
I'm sure she requires more attention.
Right. I was just up there Sunday. But true, that would be my only regret. Everything else, I'm happy when I look back.
Parents work hard to provide for their families.
Exactly, yes.
You want your children to have all the things either you may not have had or you want them to have.
Right.
And you want them to have opportunities and choices. And it sounds like that's what you did.
Right. I tried. Hopefully I taught them the value of hard work. I paid for the school, but, helped pay for the school and that. But really, I hope I gave them the wisdom or set the example of what hard work can do for you. I think that's...
Well, I think Sean, I haven't met your other son, but Sean is a shining example.
Right.
See, Sean, you look good. You're looking good.
Brendan is the same, a lot more serious, but hardworking too.
Well, see, it was tough for my brothers. I'm the oldest one,
right?
And so I'm the one, and I'm not easy. I don't know whether you picked up on that, but I'm not easy. Yeah. So it wasn't always being my brothers. It hasn't always been easy. I've tried. I'm generous, but I'm also opinionated,
right?
And I don't hesitate to share my opinions,
right?
Whether they're thought or not.
Right. Are you the oldest of how many?
3.
Oh, okay.
2 brothers.
2 boys and a girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And my father's favorite.
Okay, of course.
My father's favorite.
Yes.
Yes. But he cried when I was born because he wanted a son.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's the passing on the name.
Right.
Because my brother is a
definitely.
junior. My
Yes.
brother's like 16 months younger than I am.
Yeah.
So my brother's a junior. And my father cried because I think he wanted to pass on the name.
Right.
And he wasn't
we
sure
know
he'd
that.
be able to, because back then they weren't naming girls like they do now.
Right. Right. Yes.
But
true.
no, I was my father's favorite.
Yes. Yes.
And that wasn't good.
Right.
Because I was spoiled.
Right. Yes.
So,
Sure.
and my brothers, they had a hard time. They really did. But,
Yes.
girls take more time and effort and attention.
Yeah.
We just do. We just do.
I got off easy. So now I have a
course.
granddaughter. So
That's right. And now they have T-shirts that say "Girl Dads." When I was coming, I think of my father. That might have turned my father if he could have seen that it was it's a good thing to have.
Right.
But
right.
But then I got him over to my
Straighten him out.
side.
Yes.
I got him over to my side. Sean, what about you? Would you do anything differently?
I think if there's nothing you would do differently, you're not paying attention. I'm really happy of where I ended up in every stage of the journey because I was making the decisions based upon what felt the most right, whether it be based on passion, based on opportunity. And I really enjoyed where it has taken me, which was none of it was planned whatsoever. I think the regret I have the most is that I was on the road so much when I was younger and everything was so fast and we were so driven and so focused on the music. Or before that, when I was doing film, I was so focused on the projects and becoming a successful editor. I regret not paying more attention in my college history courses. Those little things that didn't feel like they mattered in the moment, but took me kind of full circle around to where now I have a little bit more free time and I find that I'm spending much more time on these hobbies and reading more and learning more, talking to unique people more. And I kind of wish that I wasn't so singularly focused that the whole time and kind of could have stepped back like each step of the way and like learn to enjoy it a little bit more and enjoy those kind of side things a little bit more. I mean, I traveled all around Europe and like I didn't nearly get to enough museums when I was there. So now I'm trying to kind of go back and playing less music and traveling less. But when I am traveling and I am playing shows, like my itinerary is fully booked up with all the other stuff that I wasn't able to do when we were moving so fast.
Well, you're fortunate because Philadelphia is a good place to be if you're interested in culture and their food.
Absolutely.
Their food scene has exploded.
Yeah.
I've been to several restaurants in Philadelphia, and I mean they're top notch.
Yeah, we are no joke. And I regret not starting running earlier because I'm quite fast now, but I'm not as fast as my dad was in his prime. So I wish I started when he did because I might have had him beat.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I so appreciate both of you. It's really a pleasure talking to you. I feel, Sean, as though I know you. I don't know why. I only see your father every 6 months. Unless something comes up.
Yeah. Well, he's doing a good job if you only have to go every 6 months.
Right. Oh, no. I'm serious. I'm serious about that. But it's important that children realize that it's not easy for parents to let go. And parents to realize that you have to let go at some point. But if you only have one child, recognizing that it's as difficult as it is in this day and age, it may be necessary. They have to go where the work is. Mm-hmm. And we don't know where that's going to be. COVID showed us that we can work remotely, but every business doesn't want their rank and file to work remotely. And remember that they paid for these leases. And these long-term leases. And if you're paying big money for long-term leases,
right.
They want butts in the seats.
That space.
That's right. They want butts in the seats.
Yes.
And that's a consideration. It shouldn't be the only consideration, but employees have to realize that there's a cost involved. But employers have to realize that there should be some flexibility, because we know that remote learning and remote working can benefit the business. And to the extent that that's the driver, and we know the bottom line is going to be the driver, it's
Yes.
business. As long as employees keep that in mind, you have to know that you have to keep it moving. You have to keep doing the job so that it's profitable.
Sean's wife is a perfect example of that.
What does your wife do, Sean?
She's a paralegal, essentially. She works in home retention, but she's fully remote. She's also from England. So for most of her life, had a very different experience in the workforce than we do have here. So,
Oh, yeah, she used to have time off.
she's she's got to fight for everything she gets, like the rest of us here.
Oh, no, but they used to, was it a month, 2 months? They get, in Europe, they get long vacation time.
Yes.
They get good leave, yeah.
And medical leave, family leave, they get, oh no, Europe is no joke.
Right.
They want you to be happy.
Right.
Novel thing, you know?
But no, we don't, in the United States, that's not what we do.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. But Sean, thank you so much. I so appreciate your time. And Doc, you're always aces with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Sitting on a garbage, on a turned up garbage can.
Yeah.
We make it work for
Yes.
the listeners, for the viewers, because we have a message to convey. But thank you so much. Doc, you want to tell them how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. My office is on Pleasant Valley Way in West Orange. Number is 973-325-9065. My office manager is Alexa. So feel free to call anytime.
And the name of the practice is
Llewellyn Dental Associates. And if you're not from West Orange, you get a pass on trying to spell that. But General Llewellyn was a famous Civil War general who had property in West Orange. So that's where the Llewellyn comes from.
Well, I'm going to try to make the recordings more seamless and more comfortable for my guests. But I appreciate you listening. And until next time. Thanks for listening to Your Employment Matters with Beverly Williams. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and leave a review. I truly appreciate your support, and that helps other listeners find the podcast. If you have a comment, question, or suggestion, you can reach me at baWilliams@youremploymentmatters.com. My book, Get the Job Done, is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Please join me again next week. Until then, remember to embrace change and differences.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.